This is Election Command Center, where the specialists ahead of December 7. This is where you can get all the information that you need. Plus 275 is the segment on New Day this morning. My name is Bright. Once again, welcome to New Day. And it is one of the constituencies represented in the Parliament of Ghana. It elects one member to the House. Now, this constituency is privileged because of the kind of environment that you find there. In Nhyiaso, it's quite a privileged constituency. Particularly, you can compare it to any other one in Accra and other cities now. We're saying this because of the level of development in that constituency. And of course, these constituents are ready to elect their member to represent them in Parliament. What happens, who votes what, is what will be the focus of our discussion this morning. I speak to one of the contenders who are asking for the mandate of the people of Nhyiaso. Very soon I'll tell you who that person is. But if you are sitting out there and you are from that constituency and you're watching us, of course, you can go to our social media platform, post your comment, tell us what you think about that constituency, and then we can share that with the rest of the world. Good morning once again and welcome, plus 275. My guest in the studio is representing the Progressive People's Party. This is the party that is suggesting that both the NDC and the NPP have failed Ghanaians, and so they need to give them the mandate to represent the people of that constituency. Now, the PPP is suggesting also that its candidate, Dr. Papa Kusindum, is the one who can turn the fortunes of this country. But this morning, what exactly is the PPP doing in the Nhyiaso constituency that the people there should give it their mandate to represent them in Parliament? My guest is the member of the PPP running for that constituency, Kofi Deborah Efrifa, from the PPP from the Nhyiaso constituency. Kofi Deborah, good morning, and thanks so much for joining me. Great. And welcome from Kumasi. Our other guests, both the NPP and the NDC candidate, turned down an invitation to be part of plus 275 today from the Nhyiaso constituency. Perhaps they simply can't match the eloquence of Kofi Deborah, so have decided to stay away. Maybe some other reasons I'm unable to tell. But welcome once again to plus 275. This is Election Command Center, and this is plus 275. Kofi, welcome once again.
Thank you very much.
Nhyiaso constituency, where is it? How well is it seated in Kumasi, the capital of the Ashanti region? And why is that constituency so important to the PPP?
Thank you very much. Good morning to your viewers. Good morning to Ghana. Good morning to Nhyiaso constituency. Nhyiaso is in the Kumasi metropolitan area.
Right.
Yes. And as you've already said, it's one of the endowed constituencies in the Ashanti region. As a result of that, PPP thinks it's of much importance to it, and we are targeting to
win that seat. The PP want to beat the NPP candidate,
yes,
the incumbent member of Parliament.
No, it's no more than incumbent.
It's no more than incumbent. Dr. Anani lost
now.
the primary,
so
Kennedy can come, who is contesting for, but the NPP sit on the seat. And the PPP want to get the NPP off the seat?
Yes.
Why?
Well, we believe the NPP has done a lot. If we cannot say they've done nothing.
For the constituency?
Yes. The days or the reigns of Dr. Anani has been very successful. We've seen a lot of transformation in the constituency, in terms of he being once the Minister for Health. He's done a lot for the constituency. Then the Roads Minister. We realized that there has been a lot of transformation. He started all the linking roads, our access routes in the constituency. He's done well. Then, in his own thinking or in his wisdom, he's also used his common fund to establish a scholarship fund, which most students have benefited from, of which I have also benefited once.
Right.
We think he's done a lot, but there is a lot more to be done. And now, we of the PPP believes this is the time that we get a youth who can also come up with fresh ideas to also continue from wherever he is living.
He's done a lot. You just told me about it, and you are a beneficiary of what Dr. Anani has done. Yes. And yet you think there's a lot more to be done?
Yes, there's a lot more to be done.
Tell me about it. What more has to be done for the constituency?
Just recently, after confirming our flag bearer, he said that the NPP and then the NDC have had a lot of time to serve the country. They've done a lot, but still their best is still not enough. It means that Dr. Anani has done a lot, but he could have done more. That's why we are saying that he's done a lot, but it's still not yet enough. Why am I saying this? As I've said, he's in his own wisdom, he felt Nhyiaso is an endowed constituency. As a result of that, he decided to use or invest his common fund solely in granting scholarships. But I think that he left behind vocationals, artisans, and the rest, investing in them as well. Because per our mentality, once we've said that it's a scholarship fund, it means that it's for students alone. But people have learned so many trades like hairdressers, tailors, carpentry, etc., etc. They are not benefiting from that. Some, after learning this trade, do not have the funds to set up themselves. And so they are left out. And you find a lot of them moving around, especially when you get to Ahoji roundabout. You see a lot of young men selling dogs and other things over there, which may be because they do not have enough funds. They have not yet been able to get that to be able to set up themselves. So we think he could have embraced those people into the fund that he set.
So for the PPP, that is where you're going to take off from.
Yes.
Continue from looking at these artisans, particularly what are their needs and how do you intend to deal with these needs that these artisans you're talking about will be looking out for?
In fact, the needs of the people from a broader perspective, I have observed from afar.
Right.
But me as a parliamentarian, mine, as we always say, will be just going to make sure that we legislate.
Right.
But I see myself as a development partner. Based on that, I will come out, or I've structured it in such a way that I'll be meeting the assembly members. When we meet them, we all sit together, present to them that these are the challenges I have identified in the constituency. But once these assembly members are with the people, they know more challenges much better than I do. So we'll meet together, present it to them that these are what I want to tackle. But if you have other challenges, bring it on board. Let's all try to resolve it together so that we'll make our constituency a very good place to live in.
I wanted to stay on this issue of education that you raised about people who have gone through some vocational training, artisans, some technical training, and yet need some amount of resources as startups. Now, you suggested that Dr. Anani granted scholarships for people to go through other forms of education at a secondary level. Now, you want to take it up from there and deal with those who have acquired vocational skills, technical skills, and artisans who perhaps need some resources. I asked you earlier, what are the needs of these persons you have identified, and how do you intend to support them get these needs?
Well, I don't know how far the common fund can go.
Right.
Okay. So what we are thinking of is that NDC tells us that we have a yes there, which we don't know whether it exists.
The youth enterprise support.
We don't know whether it exists in name or there is fund in it. So when PPP comes into government, we'll make sure that we'll lobby to get some of these funds, bring it down to Nhyiaso Constituency, invest in these people, get people to monitor them, make sure they invest in exactly the trade that they've learned. And as they progress, we guide them, give them the needed advice, suggestions, and the guidance that they need. So that based upon that, when they start making profit out of whatever we've invested in them, and they will start repaying, maybe at a softer interest rate or at interest-free, and they'll be repaying so that future ones will also have access to these funds. Assuming
that, you know what, 275 constituencies, and assuming that the Yes Fund is unable to get to your constituency, are you suggesting you're going to leave them to their fate?
No, we'll not leave them to their fate. I don't think it's only the common fund. The other development funds that come to the Minister of Parliament, or the Member of Parliament, sorry.
Right.
So these would try to channel some of them into these areas. So we'll not solely depend on the common fund alone, but the other development funds that come, we'll try to channel it to that area so that we'll be able to invest in these people. And once they'll be repaying, it means that the funds will be coming back to invest in other people as well.
I see. Now, that is how you intend to deal with these persons who, one way or the other, cannot get funding to start up small businesses. Now, your party talks about job creation as one of the cardinal principles on which it want to preach the people to come to power. How do you intend to transfer that to the Nhyiaso constituency?
All right, thank you very much once again. Yeah, we are talking about job creation all the time, but we are promising that as a PPP and as a government in waiting. But you know that we cannot just get jobs out of the blue in just one term or in just straight away like that. So what we will do is that we are people looking at our flag bearer. He's self-reliant. We shouldn't wait for the government to create jobs for us, but we are going to create the environment so that the can-do spirit will be there, the confidence that they would have to be able to start up something will also be there, so that we will not sit and wait for the government to create jobs before we get ourselves employed. That's why we are saying that we'll create that confidence in them and then make sure that even if there are no jobs, the environment will be very conducive for them so that they will be able to come up with their own. Because from our educational system now, the SHS, based on that, government is creating labor at a very fast rate, but the job creation is at a very slower rate. So we cannot absorb everybody at the same time. That is why with these artisans and vocations who have learned these vocations, we are trying to make sure that we create the environment for them, provide them with soft funds so that they also start something. And it will take the burden of the presidency or the government a bit of, then we'll attack or we deal with them gradually.
Okay. How would you react to your contenders, perhaps the NPP candidate, the NDC candidate, who would suggest that the way you want to deal with unemployment from the central level and hoping that it would trickle down to the constituency level is not going to resolve the unemployment problem?
Well, if they so, let me just take Dr. Sapon, for example. He has once been the KMA boss.
Right.
He's also been the regional minister. So if he comes back to promise us that he will create jobs or he will make sure that these people are well catered for, he's been in charge before and he wasn't able to do it. So if he comes now to promise them that he's going to provide them, how is he going to provide it? Because you've already had the opportunity to do that and you were not able to do it. Meanwhile, you also live in the constituency, and so you know the people very well and you should have tackled it from that end. You've had the opportunity to do it. You couldn't do it. So what else do we expect from you? But for Kennedy, I cannot say much because the two of us are now coming in, so we definitely make sure that we tell the people what we can do for them. But he will be assessed or marked based upon the track record of Dr. Anane or his party.
So for you, we should trust you for what you would tell us what you would do.
Yes, because PPP and our flag bearer is already doing it.
Okay.
So if we talk about jobs, NPP is promising that they will create jobs, NDC is promising that they will create jobs. But look at Papa Kwesi Nkrumah as a flag bearer. He is swimming in the jobs already. So if he talks about it, it means he has the ideas, he knows how to create it. So with the limited resources available to himself, let's look at where he is. He's all over the country. If you have the large resources, it means he can do much better. And at the moment, Ghana, we need somebody who is an economist who can know how to invest funds to create more jobs, to bring the money back so that we'll also be able to move on.
This is Election Command Center, and this is New Day Plus 275 is a segment. My guest in the studio is the man representing the Progressive People's Party, Kofi Deborah Afrifa. He is seeking to unseat and overthrow all those who are contesting with him in that constituency. A quick recap of the results back in 2008. The NPP won the seat, polling over 77.7% of the votes in 2012. The same happened, it dropped in the percentages there, but 76.21%, that's how the NPP managed to capture the seat. The NDC had always trailed the NPP in that constituency, and the PPP in 2012 polled just 666 votes, and that's about just 1.12% of the votes in that constituency. But in 2016, the party says it is ready to indeed wrestle the seat from the NPP that now occupies the seat. My guest is the man representing the PPP, Kofi Deborah Afrifa, on Plus 275. Kofi, let's move on with our conversation. Now, the Nhyiaso constituency is one that is privileged. And it's a constituency that can be referred to as any in Accra, East Legon, and all that. I also West Walgon. Now, what is it that the constituents that you have been talking to have asked you to do if they give you their mandate to represent them in Parliament? What exactly are their needs? You've already spoken about unemployment. Let's jump into other issues. What is it that Nhyiaso needs?
Nhyiaso needs security, as you've already said. it's one of the endowed constituencies, and as a result of that, definitely we'll have security challenges. So it's an area we are trying to tackle so that will provide security for the people of Nhyiaso. The little that I can say that I've contributed to now is that we have one of the electoral areas being Fanchinebra. The assembly member there has started with the neighborhood watchdog committee. He had a fundraising ceremony. We all attended. We contributed. Now I'm in talks with the Patasi assembly member. He's also started his own. So gradually we are discussing it with the assembly members so that we know how best to embark or to beef up our security. Because the police say that we are the same people who can provide security for ourselves. So it is better we be on the lookout before we are taken unawares by the petty thieves as well as armed robbers, etc., etc. So security is of paramount to us.
Before you move on, how bad is the security situation in Nhyiaso, judging from the fact that this is a privileged constituency, and perhaps the people there could find their own security, and yet you're suggesting that security is a huge issue there. How bad is the situation?
Actually, it's not bad now, thanks to the activities or the action of our police commander, Mr. Kofi Boache. He's done a lot, and now he's beefed up. You can see a lot of police visibility, but we still have to provide our own to support whatever the police is doing. So we will not say it's bad. But I was first living at Fanchinebra, and I've moved to Patasi, all in the Nhyiaso Constituency.
Right.
But what I hear daily is that there are petty thieves around. The next morning you wake up, you hear somebody's window has been cut, a mobile phone has been stolen, a laptop has been stolen, etc., etc. So we are trying, based upon that, it means that petty stealing is still on the increase. For armed robbery, I think the police have done a lot, and they prevented or minimized that. It's up to the petty stealing that we have to work on
to deal with.
Reduce it.
So security is a key issue in Nhyiaso.
It's still a key issue in the areas that
you have mentioned.
Yes.
Dr. Anane had been on the seat for quite some time, and you have alluded to what he has done, suggesting that he's provided that kind of leadership, but somehow you are satisfied with. What leadership is the PPP candidate ready to provide?
I'm a young, humble, and hardworking person, so I've decided, as I've already said, I would always consult the people first, because it's the people I'm going to serve. And based upon that, you have to know their needs before you'll be able to serve them. I cannot just impose anything that I think on them. So based upon that, I will always be in touch with the assembly members, trying to get a constituency office whereby we'll always have periodic meetings, know the challenges, the problems, and how best we can all solve it together. Because giving the nod as the MP, it means that the assembly members doing their development projects, where they find difficulty getting whatever they need, that is where the MP comes in to push or to lobby to get these amenities that they need so that they can also continue with the development of the constituency or of their electoral areas.
So for you, a leader who goes to the people, that's what you're promising. How well will that work? Assuming that you find yourself in parliament and yet the government of the day isn't from the PPP. Do you see any difficulty ahead in working with the people on the ground, the District Assembly, in bringing development to Nhyiaso?
In the unlikely event where the PPP does not come to power as the president,
and yet you get the nod to become the member of parliament.
Yes. Then it's all about lobbying, it's all about your lobbying skills, how you'll be able to relate with the people in power, that they'll be able to provide you with the needed facilities to be able to help your constituency. So we'll base basically on that. And we'll try our possible best to make sure that PPP comes to power so that we'll be able to lobby more for our constituency.
Let's see on this issue. How well have you seen the assembly under which Nhyiaso is located working for the development of Nhyiaso constituency?
Come again.
I'm talking about the assembly, the municipal or metro assembly under which Nhyiaso is located, working well to bring development to the constituency.
Yes, as you've said earlier on again, we are saying that Nhyiaso is well-endowed area. It's one of the first-class constituencies. Based upon that, sometimes all that you realize is that eyes are taken off from that area because people feel it's quite okay.
The people can handle themselves.
So it's quite okay. And so the assembly takes its eyes off from the area a bit. So we will have to pull the assembly's eyes back to the place that it will also attend to the issues. Because the KMA boss, the assembly boss lives in that constituency as well. So he must pay attention to the area as well and help develop the constituency. So we try and work hand in hand with the assembly boss to make sure that this is where you have your residency. Attend to us as well. Don't take off your eyes that we are well endowed. No, we are not that endowed. We still need more.
Then your party talks about the election of Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assembly Executive, because that's how the PPP things will bring development to the people. Now, you are prepared to work with the Assembly. How well would this idea of an officer at the head of the Assembly elected by the people bring or speedily bring development to constituencies? You can take Nhyiaso for example.
I think it's a lofty idea from our presidential candidates. If the assembly boss is elected, it means the person becomes accountable to the people, not to the government. But sometimes what we realize or what we hear is that when the person is appointed by the president, he goes there and says that I'm working for the president brought me here to work for him. So he doesn't do what is expected of him. But if he knows that he'll be voted for, then he will pay heed to the needs of the electors and then serve the electors, not the presidents.
And you think that an elected member, an elected head of an assembly can work with an MP also elected from another party quite well?
Yes, we can work together. We are not fighting. We are all developing our constituency, our nation, Mother Ghana. And so I don't think we have to work. It's all about Jojo to make sure that we come to a consensus. What will help each constituency? We move on with that. You
earlier spoke about the fact that because Nhyiaso is a privileged constituency, there is not much attention on the constituency from the assembly, the KMA. Now, the issue of flooding around some places, we were told Ahojo and the rest sometimes experiences flooding. How well do you think, or how bad has it not been painted to the assembly for the assembly to come to the aid of the people? And how do you intend to deal with this if given the mandate?
Yes, let me correct this impression. Well, we are saying that it's endowed, but it's not endowed, and I've not said it's endowed. That's what people see it to be. We still have challenges, as you've already pointed out.
No, let's get it clear. Is it endowed, but you have challenges, or you think that it is not an endowed constituency totally?
If it's endowed, then it means there shouldn't be development at all. So people, is a perception, but we still have challenges.
Okay.
So let's accept it in principle that yes, fine, it is endowed, but we still have challenges.
Right.
So what we are saying is that the KMA shouldn't relax at all on the development of Nhyiaso as well. That's what we are saying.
Right.
Because people are saying it's endowed, it means you can refocus your attention on other areas,
constituencies,
and then you forget about Nhyiaso totally. That's what we don't want to accept. That's why I'm saying that based upon that, we don't want to say Nhyiaso is endowed, so that attention can be focused on that area as well.
Now let's deal with that issue, because you have just accepted some of the challenges, one of which is flooding, we're told, around the Ahojo areas. Is that the only place that gets flooded when it rains?
Basically, that is where it gets flooded a lot.
And you are asking for the mandate of the people. Have you perhaps gone to look at why it gets flooded, and perhaps some efforts you have put in to ensure that that difficulty, that challenge is dealt with?
A lot of the flooding, I think, is based upon drainage. And I've seen some areas, some big gutters being desilted now, so that these drainage will be able to go smoothly. These drains will go smoothly. So I think if we're able to clear our gutters well, clear the waterway so that water can flow freely, then definitely flooding will be able to minimize.
So the assembly is already working on some of these challenges in the constituency. And so if the assembly is already working on these challenges, then it suggests that at least some level of development is coming to the constituency. And is that the reason why perhaps people see it as an endowed constituency? The fact that the assembly is already working there?
Because we are now telling the assembly that don't see Nhyiaso as endowed place and then you take off your eyes. But you should also concentrate on it because we are all sharing that same cake. So if you take off your eyes, it means that we will definitely be taken away by the floods. So don't take your eyes totally off the constituency. And make sure you also pay attention to the constituency. And where we are having challenges, you help us solve those problems.
Let's go back to the results for 2012-28 2004 elections. In 2004, the PPP did not take part in the elections. The NPP won the seat with 36,000 plus of the vote. In 2004, again, the NDC trailed second, 8,000 plus of the vote. In 2008, the NPP again winning with 36,000 plus, and the NDC second. The PPP again wasn't in the picture. In 2012, however, your party, the PPP, took part. 666 votes you were able to garner. The NPP, 45,000 of the vote. I would suggest to you that the PPP should not contest this election in this constituency.
Thank you. That's your impression. The party was formed about 5 months to elections.
2012.
Yes, 2012. So if we're able to put down CPP, PNC, and the other parties,
and even NDP,
yes, then it means we've made inroads in just 5 months. Now we've had about 4 years to study the terrain and the system. It means we've assessed ourselves, we've done a lot of our homework, and based upon that, we think we can make an impact and take the seats this time around.
What has changed between 2012, when you were formed 5 months into 2012, and now? What has changed about
we
the
had
PPP?
enough time to talk to the people, talk to the grassroots, done our homework well, and based upon that, we believe that we will definitely come to power.
Is a response of the people of Nhyiaso what is urging the PPP on? When you talk to them, is it their response that is urging the PPP on, or you simply think that the party has had enough time to speak to the constituent of Nhyiaso, and so you are sure they will give you their mandate?
I'll take it from one, the acceptance speech. I'll quote just a phrase of the acceptance speech of our running mates. She said that we've tested, or as it is said in the Akan dialect, that Yanswansu, Yaswansu, Yaswansa. So now we know the Mudu. Okay. Based upon that, we've spoken with the grassroots people. They've told us their challenges. PPP, NDC has come to serve them. NPP has served them. They've seen what they both have done. And now, this is the message that PPP is preaching to them. That give us the opportunity and we'll provide much better than what NPP and NDC has done. So based upon that, we think we are drumming home the good news that PPP is carrying along with. And the people are accepting us. And
so from 666 votes, the PPP is sure of upsetting the so-called big parties.
Yes, definitely.
Efifa, now, in case you're given the mandate to represent Nhyiaso constituency, how do you intend to work with the NPP, the NDC, the CPP, the NDP candidate, if there are any in the constituency? We're talking about development here.
Yes. Once you are given the nod as the MP, you are no longer MP for PPP. You're MP for the constituents of the constituency. As a result of that, maybe the message I carried around, an NDP person might have accepted it and voted for me. A CPP person might have done likewise. So I would not say it's only the PP people who put me there. So based upon that, I'm going to be a servant of all the constituents. That is why I'm saying that we'll have a constituency office separate from the party office, where the MP will be working from, where the people of the constituency will have access to the MP, if not directly through their assembly members, that work based upon the challenges of each assembly area or electoral area. Then we'll be able to solve the challenges of the area. And the people will get to know that, yes, indeed, PPP is delivering based upon our promises that we made to them.
So, for instance, you're suggesting that even before your contenders, all of you asking for the mandate of the people, even before you're giving the mandate, the aspirants can work together in bringing development to Nhyiaso. Even before you get elected, you can work together. And that when you have been elected, you can work with these other party reps who perhaps fail to get the mandate of the people.
It's like the Asante stew. When the Asante Hini dies, definitely a lot of families come up. It is our turn, until the Queen Mother presents whoever is supposed to be the next chief. Okay, it's a family, let's take that it's a family chair that is now bare, and we need somebody to occupy the seat. So once you are given the mandate by the people to be the member of parliament, it means that the rest must come together, because we all pledge to help the constituents, and that is what we all focus on. So if our doors will be open to every contestant, if only you would be willing to come in to help. That whatever you would also want to caution us on, because once you are sitting afar, you see much better than one who is sitting in. So based upon that, you just prompt us, draw attention to these things, and we'll try to work hand in hand with them, do a lot of consultations. Dr. Sapon has been the KMA boss. He's been a regional minister, so he knows a lot, he has a lot of experience. We'll not leave Dr. Nani behind. We'll also be doing a lot of consultation that will tell us. Then other stakeholders or key leaders in the constituency, we'll also talk to them so that they will also help us, give us ideas, advise us, drive us whenever we are drifting, bring us on board so that we work with the chiefs and everybody that is supposed to be consulted. We'll do that. That will help us all to build a very good constituency.
Let's begin to wrap up our conversation. You have alluded to Dr. Anani's sterling performance and the fact that the MPP keeps winning that seat. Now, what is it that will make the people of Nhyiaso change their minds about the NPP and vote for the PPP?
We are on the grassroots, discussing with them, talking to them. Yes, you've tasted the reigns of MPP throughout as a member of parliament. Now give us the opportunity and see what we also have.
What about if what they have tasted is sweet enough?
They wouldn't have taken Dr. Anani out of the seat.
Because of that, they want to try something else.
Yes, that's why we are saying they should also give us a chance. And now, Dr. Anani has done a lot. As we've said, wisdom does not reside in one person's head. So Dr. Anani has had his due. So definitely somebody else must come with fresh ideas to augment whatever Dr. Anani did. We are not going to rubbish everything that Dr. Anani did. We're going to improve upon it and then come out with fresh ideas to continue from wherever he is living.
So the CPP is ready.
The
PPP is ready to take up the mandate of representing Nhyiaso in the Parliament of Ghana.
Yes, please.
And Kofi Deborah Afrifa is the man to do that job.
That is it.
Right. In just 1.5 minutes, speak to your constituency. Nhyiaso is a cosmopolitan area, but majority of the people who live there speak the Twi, the Akan language. Speak to them in just about 2 minutes. Why Kofi Deborah Afrifa is the person, and why they should give you their mandate to represent them in Parliament before we wrap up our conversation. You can speak to your camera.
Yeah, okay. Meda se wakwenya mudamai mesa fasa kwenya we so na machia Nhyiaso fo nyina biem asanteman ene Ghana nyina obi wo hwe bia se Nhyiaso fo anopai modisia Kofi Deborah na mene mo kase me san ba mo na so biem asre se moma ya kwenya no ne enso emra mesomo ne ba behwe se dia Dr. Anani aye bia ne ba bia edru bia no yenso ye beto aso afri honom ye metutu ni nangu ye me party sem ye basi ye ba som ye constituency na se ye peso ane so ne ahwe amene nyina kwanenim enti ye nama ye ba mo apona no ba ko hu ye a eno nche se ye ma ho ye beba obi apona no ye ni mo assembly members e din komo se de be ye be hunu hawe wo obi ampeso aso an sample na se mama akwenya na me akọ parliament akọ somo ti de esre ni se afiwe de yen afi oma PPP kwan ne emra ne ma me somo afi nso mitu obi anso fo se abato eba betu enye ntokwa ye nyina ye hwese ye betu na somdue so obi anko no nkoye na famu de se oman bapa na ye nto aba no ma oman so ye nko ye nim ntokwa bi anim ye fa somdue mra asise ne ma bebre de ba obi akwan so emre ni duru a obi abeti yen kan so se adewe ne ye ama electoral area bia na ye de amama ye constituency ne so enyini na ye krabehwe ye sese moma ya kwenya no.
The NPP in 2012 had 45,389, the NDC 12,304, the CPP 807 of the vote, the PPP 666. And from there, the PPP says it is ready to cause an upset and take the seat from these parties. This is how we'll wrap up the show this morning. Kofi Deborah Frifa is representing the PPP in the Nhyiaso constituency. Kofi, I'm grateful for your time once again this morning, and thanks so much for joining us. His contenders refused to be part of the conversation. We have come from that constituency in the Ashanti region, the Nhyiaso constituency. This has been Plus 275. We're helping you to make the right choices.